a lot of people are jumping to a lot of conclusions that Mikey Sainristil is wearing number 2, the cornerback out of Michigan. Why are people jumping to conclusions about this? Because Dyami Brown is currently on the roster and wears number 2.
Okay.
Landfill, what was the conclusion you reached in the text thread last night?
Dyami Brown is definitely getting cut.
Okay. And
maybe not, but he won't be wearing number 2.
Well, I think because you're not the only person that said that, Landini, and it's just it's too far of a conclusion to jump to that Sainristil wearing 2 means Dyami Brown is automatically cut. What happens this time of year? They have 90-man rosters. Some guys just wear the same number, and
yeah, but when the guy's a number 2 pick, Jay, you can
if this was
make that sound how you want. If both of them make the team, Sainristil gonna have that number. And
I tend to agree with you.
In this situation, Dyami has to now step up and show exactly what he said he was when he got here. See, the whole thing about it is, like we always talk about, a certain coaching staff didn't draft the person. They didn't draft him. They drafted a guy that Nick Saban said was the best football player in the draft. And Nick Saban gets a lot of damn respect from people when it comes to football. He said that kid right there, 5'9", is the best player in the draft. You think he's going anywhere? Nope. So maybe, just maybe, somebody else going to be looking for a number.
I agree. It's worth pointing out that guys wear duplicates this time of year because they have 90-man rosters. And then
I know
numbers get figured out later into the season. That said, it doesn't look like great news for Dyami.
Hey.
And, I mean, hell, we talked about that when we, went through the roster. What do they have right now? And I don't think the receiver position is particularly strong. And Dyami's got to show them.
Hey, man, one thing about pro sport, it's a show me job. So every year you got to show.
Totally. I mean, you still have receivers getting signed. Tyler Boyd, I think, just signed with the Titans. Did Zay Jones sign? I know he was taking visits. There are still dudes out there. There will probably be some releases in the next couple of weeks. I think, is Sterling Shepard still available? Kind of how the Giants always kill the Commanders. I feel like that dude always killed the Commanders.
Had a hell of a career against the Commanders.
Right. Now, I mean, maybe he's 31. Maybe people think he's too old. I don't know that that's the case. But, yeah, I think he's a free agent right now. Maybe he's coming off injury, though, or something. So the Dyami Brown thing, I don't know. Apparently, you played in the league a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I imagine after year 2 or so, when did you feel kind of established and maybe not comfortable? Because, being comfortable in the NFL is pretty dangerous as a player.
I don't think I was ever comfortable, but I felt established after year 2.
So after year 2, you were no longer, I don't know if concerned is the right way, but you're like, all right, I'm number 30. This thing's sticking around, right?
They never gave nobody my number. When I was on from year 1 all the way through. So,
but how much did you think, pay attention to your number? When did it start to really matter?
When I started caring about my number, I never really worried about my number. I worried about being ready to play. And everything else took care of itself. Every time they brought a player in that was in my position, I basically worked out with him, alongside him, and I showed them I was better than him. I don't give a damn who it was. You weren't going to be stronger than me. You're no faster than me. And if I still can outrun the young dude, and I've been doing it consistently for years, they go with the thing that they know instead of what they don't know. So I always welcome the young dudes. Hey, come lift. We're going to lift at 7 in the morning. We're going to do our running at 7:30. Because they're looking. I'm giving them something to look at. And I think the problem is people do get comfortable and they stop competing. I competed the whole time.
Right.
And because I watched Daryl, Art, Ernest Biner. I watched those dudes who were established competing as if this is their first year. So I picked up that. I never was a person like, oh, I know I'm going to make the team. I was confident I would because I had worked hard enough to make sure I put myself in that position. But I wasn't just like resting on my laurels.
Well, here's why I ask, right? Because I guess Mariota picked 0, which I think is odd, but whatever. For a quarter, I mean, doesn't that just strike you as odd that a quarterback's taking 0? But whatever.
Anybody that takes 0 is odd to
me. I mean, the biggest 0, like the biggest name that wore 0 that I can think of is Gilbert Arenas, who I rooted for and enjoyed, but he's a little odd. But Sainristil apparently wore 0 at Michigan. Like, you can just look in our chat right now, and people are saying, you know, Mariota should switch so Sainristil can get 0. Like, I just don't care.
Yeah, but Mariota is a veteran guy playing quarterback. You notice they didn't give what's called number 0 also, right?
Hartman?
No. They didn't give Sainristil 0 with Mariota, right?
Right.
Okay. Landfill may be on to something.
It might say more about Dyami than we realize. What I believe, though, is I'm not positive on this, but I'm pretty damn sure. Did Dyami wear 2 in college? I think he did. I'm pulling that up right now. Yeah, Dyami wore 21 and then 2 in college. I'm pretty sure Dyami has a 2 tattooed on him, and it says Deuce. So I wonder. I can't imagine that sitting great with him. But again, they have duplicates this time of year. It's not the end of the world. B, what, if anything, do you think coaches want to see during rookie minicamp?
They want to see guys if they can retain information. They want to see how guys react, how guys compete. If a guy makes a mistake, they want to see if he can get over it quickly. If a guy has success, they want to see if he's going to forget about it and move on to the next play, or will he walk around like a peacock? And then he keeps messing up on the next play. You know what I mean? They want to see from one day to the next, does he come back the next day and know everything, or does he forget it all? So the mental aspect and how fast a guy moves right now is important to the coaches.
Well, I think we might learn a little too here about DQ. I mean, we haven't seen him in like a coaching capacity yet, and that'll be interesting, kind of the pace of practices. I think when we had Nikki on earlier in the week, she was saying that she wants to see like how they run, how, you know, station to station kind of thing. And then I wonder if they'll be in the bubble today because it's just kind of crappy out here.
Yeah. I mean, today, go in the bubble because you want to. You don't want to mess up. You want to get everything you can out of it. Since they're not really going as hard today and all that, you go inside to where you know every play is going to matter. You go outside, you don't want people slipping down and all that stuff in the beginning. Now, if the season is going on and it's supposed to rain this weekend, they practicing this.
Yeah.
That's what I want to see.
I would totally agree with that. And Ron was really good. Ron wanted to be outside pretty much no matter what, unless there was a serious weather event or, you know, the fields were underwater or something. I think today, man, you can go in the bubble. But I'm curious kind of the flow of everything. Landville thinks Dyami's getting cut. I don't know did we check in with Jeff on that? Do you think this Sainristil thing means Dyami's out?
It could be, but we never know. Dyami could go in this camp and have a great camp and have a breakout season. Being optimistic, but we just never know. But it could say that, you know, just because you was on this team before we got here does not mean you have seniority on the new, things that's going forward.
Yeah, I mean, if the players didn't already know that, and it's possible for Dyami, this is his first regime change, for lack of a better word. Although I think Turner really liked him, and Turner was why they drafted Dyami. So he's already seen a change in OC. But ultimately, man, it's production, and he's got to be aware that the production isn't there. That said, last year there wasn't a ton of production for anybody.
What was that saying? I say, Jay, easy to get drafted. It's hard to stay around.
Yeah.
So, and guys have to understand that. And I hope it's a message that the coaches give them. Because, like when I saw guys constantly messing up and they kept getting put on the field week in and week out, you basically were telling other players that you could play horrible and you still get a chance to play. That's not a good message for a coach to put out.